as a actual work. Okay, so having seen earlier that you need to find out all the loads, that means, see, last time we saw that this force F is related, the force at the fulcrum is related to this. This is what we have seen. But then, if the shape of the lever is not like this, then what do we do? There could be a case where the shape of the lever maybe is something like this. Say, it is one piece. The shape of the lever itself is like this. Okay, in fact I should draw it in a better way. The fulcrum will be here. So there is some angle between the two arms. Here it was 180 degrees. Now this is something else. So phi is the angle between the two arms, and the rest everything is same. There is P acting here, there is W acting here, and then there will be F acting here. Now how do we find out these values here? Now this equation is not applicable straightforward. You cannot say P plus W is equal to F because it is not in straight lines like this. It is a special case when phi is 180 degrees, it is a special case. But that may not be the case always. So we should know the general formula instead of this formula. So what that formula is, you must have learned earlier, the parallelogram of forces. So according to that, what it says is F will be equal to P square plus W square plus 2PF. You can write this cos, this is minus 2WP other, or it is F is equal to P square plus W square plus 2WP cos theta. And what is theta? Phi is this angle and theta is this angle. So you can see here phi is angle between arms and theta is angle theta is the angle between forces. Sometimes you may be given angle between the forces, sometimes you can be given angle between the arms. So it could be phi that is given, it could be theta that is given. If phi is given, the formula is like this, where this is minus, and if theta is given, same formula but this is plus. So minus and plus is the only difference. So either it will be minus or it will be plus. Now in what case, what is the thing? That is phi is the angle between arms. If there is phi which is angle between arms, then it is minus. Okay, maybe I'll write here arms, ARMS. So arms, angle between arms, it is minus, and plus is angle between forces. So I'll call this as forces. You can remember like this, when to take plus, when to take minus, rest everything is same. So by applying P and W in this equation and the angle, you can find out the reaction at the support. Now in this example, if you put phi as 180 degrees, you will get this. You will get this because it is P square plus W square plus 2WP, which is a square of P plus W. So P plus W square and square root. So it is P plus W, which is this. So that way you can find out. So this is also one of the information which we are supposed to know in order to go further and solve the exercise. Because as we said earlier, before we start the exercise, we should know the forces that are acting. And how to get the forces, how to find out these all three forces is by this or this formula depending on the shape of the lever. Okay, so now with this background, let us now actually perform one design action. So let's say that there is a lever which we are to design. So this is a lever. This lever is fitted here. This lever is fitted here, and then say at this point, suppose I just tie one rope. You are pulling it in this direction by certain. There is a load here which you have to overcome. There is some load is, let's say there is a load. This load is tied here and you want to pull it by applying effort. So by hand I am applying effort here so that the lever which is tied here, the load that is tied here, I will be able to pull. And then certain dimensions are given to us. Let's say this is given as A, this is given as B, and then this is the lever whose cross section is given to us as B by T. So it is a rectangular cross section where B is equal to, let's say, B itself is equal to 4 times T. And this is shown by revolved section. Instead of showing the other view of the lever, we are just showing the section by rotating it so that you will come to know how the section is made up of. This is called a revolved section. Okay, so now this is a lever which you have to design, and in the question the data given is like this, or given. What is the thing given? You are given A, you are given B, you are given the load to be overcome, and of course you are given the stresses. And then you have to find T and B. So design this cross section. How do you do this now? We should know whatever forces are acting on the lever. Now at the moment on this lever only W is acting, which is given, and the dimensions A and B are given and the stress is given. So now what we do is we start like this. First we draw the free body diagram. Let us draw the free body diagram of lever, which looks like this. Just the line diagram, and on this line, on this lever, at this place, a load is applied like this, and at this place, a force is applied like this. Here there is a fulcrum F, which also has got its own direction. So as you can see from the figure, F will be like this, because F and P is going to be equal to W. Okay, so we will write here that W is equal to P plus F. Now somebody says, why F is like this, why not F like this? Suppose you think F is like this, what will happen? Let's say F is like this, which is wrong, but suppose it is like this. Then what will happen? On this lever, two forces are acting like this, one force is acting like this, means the lever will rotate. It will not function, it just go on rotating, which is not correct. So for equilibrium, that means for stability, F has to be in this direction. So these two and against that, this one. So this becomes the equation. Now in this equation, what is known? Only W is known. So we have to first find out P. So how you will find out P? As you can see here, P into B, okay, taking moments. Acting on lever, taking the moment that are acting on lever. So what moments are acting on the lever? See how you have to think it like this. There is a lever like this. Now you can first thing is you can very easily understand its function. Forget about all the technical thing what we are doing. You can easily understand as a layman, simple, that there is a lever which is fixed here, something is tied here which you want to pull. So if you pull from here, then this will be moved forward. So when you apply effort like this load you can shift. Now when that happens, what is going to happen to the lever? What the lever is experiencing? The lever is experiencing a moment which this force is applying on it. So what moment this force is applying on the lever? P into B. So on this lever, I'm drawing again, on this lever which is fixed here, because of P there is a moment acting like this, which is P into B, because this is P. So this is one moment acting on the lever. Now if this is the only moment acting on the lever, what will happen? The lever will rotate. But it will not rotate. Why? Because at this point there is one more force also acting, which is W. So this W is acting like this, means W is creating again a moment like this, which is W into A. W into A. So there are two moments acting, one because of W and the other because of P. P into B, W into A. So these two moments are equal. So because they are equal, the lever is in equilibrium. Okay. So keeping this condition in mind, we will write that P into A is going to be equal to W, or rather P into B is equal to W into A. So from this you can find out how much is P. So find out how much is P. Now once you know what is P, then after this, since W is equal to P plus F, you can find out F. Find out F. So now at this stage you know all the three. What is the force acting here, what is the force acting here, and then A and B. So everything dimensions is known. Now only what is left is to find out the cross section. Okay. So the next thing is to find out the cross section, which is what we will do next. Okay. So we have done this much. So at this stage we have with us A, B, W, P, F and FT design. Okay, some of the things were given, some things were not given, but we have found them out. So now everything is, this much things are there with us. Now what we do is, now we have to find out the cross section. How do we find out the cross section? That is the next. Now if you see earlier what was drawn, then here the lever is like this. At this point there is P acting, at this point somewhere there is W acting, and here there is F acting. So when these three forces are acting on the lever, what will happen? We have already earlier said that there are moments acting here. So this is the moment W into A acting, this is the moment P into B acting. That means the lever is experiencing a moment. Lever is experiencing a moment. So when the lever is experiencing a moment, you can also see here, can you draw the bending moment diagram? So the next thing is to draw the bending moment diagram for this lever in order to understand what is the amount of bending moment that is applied on this lever. So can you draw the bending moment diagram of this? You can go back and recollect, you know what we have done, as we have said earlier also, that from the strength of materials, we are going to learn how to draw the bending moment diagram, which we have learned at that time. So suppose this is the case, maybe I'll draw a better way, which is what you already learned by you. So that time you must have learned that there is a beam like this, which is called as a simply supported beam. There is a load here. So when this is the case, there is a load on the beam and the beam is supported here. What is the bending moment on this particular beam? That time you must have drawn one figure, which looks like this. So this is called as a bending moment diagram. Okay. Now what it means? This much is a representation of the bending moment which is acting here, and that is equal to, suppose these are there, some say this is A, this is B and this is C. Force A, force B, force C, and then some dimensions here. Then you can say that bending moment here, maximum, this is equal to A into A, or it is also equal to B into B. So A into A is the bending moment acting here, which is same as bending moment acting there, because it is in equilibrium. So the amount of bending moment you can find out like this. Okay, so this is something which you already know. You are supposed to know. You can go back and revise. Now can you see this and this is similar diagram? These diagrams are similar. The way it is shown, it is similar. Same thing. So now here also you will be able to draw the bending moment diagram, because I can show this way, which is same. I can show it this way, which is same. And now you can see this is the same diagram, only it is position is different, but otherwise this is the same diagram. So in this case, now you can draw on the same lines a bending moment diagram like this. and this is the bending moment maximum, which is equal to how much? This force W into this distance, or rather F into this distance. F into A is F acting at a distance of A, or it could be P acting at a distance of, this was I think B, so B minus A. B minus A, it will come same. So by some means you will find out what is M. So what is M is the moment acting, and that moment is maximum here. What is the bending moment somewhere here? What is the bending moment here acting on the lever? Suppose there is some point X. So at this point X, what is the bending moment acting? So whatever is the distance, this is the point where you are asked to find out what is the bending moment. So that will be by this like a graph. So if you go here, this much is the amount of bending moment that is acting at X. That means on this lever there is a bending moment acting which will be 0 here, and which will be maximum at this point. So on this lever, at all these places there is bending moment acting. Here it is 0, it will increase, it is maximum here, and again it is 0. So maybe this is the way you can show how the bending moment is varying on this lever. So that means at this section the bending moment applied is maximum, and that is equal to this F into A. So now you know what is acting on the lever. So I'll write here maximum bending moment on lever is at point W. Where the load W is acting, at that place the bending moment is maximum. And how much is that? Bm max is equal to F into A, and this value you know because you know F and A. So you know how much is the bending moment. What is the unit of bending moment? Newton, and then distance, meter or whatever. Okay. So you know the amount of bending moment maximum that is acting on the lever. Once you know this, now you are in a position to apply the correct design equation. Now what is the design equation? Design equation is something which will give you, like in the case of that earlier example, simple example, we keep comparing everything with this simple example. You are given load, this is the cross section, and material, the diameter is A. So you can say that Ft is equal to load upon area. So this is a design equation we know. Why this is a design equation? Because with this you can design. Why you can design by this? Because in this equation there is a material property which is stress, there is an externally applied parameter that is load, in this case force, and there is a dimension in area which is also there. So if you are given the load acting, if you are given the material property, then you can find out the dimension. So this is a design equation. This is applicable for this exercise. Now in this case, now we have got bending moment with us, and we are in search of a design equation. Now this equation can you use here? No, because this equation doesn't contain moment. Here externally applied parameter was force, and this was a design equation which was using force and stresses and the dimension. So you used. Now here what is applied from external, from outside, is not force but moment. So you need a formula which will consist of, instead of P, it should consist of moment, it should consist of stress, and it should consist of some parameter which is containing inside the dimensions. So what is that formula? If you remember, sometime back we have written M upon I is equal to F upon Y equal to E upon R. This formula we have written earlier. Out of that, this part you forget at the moment. Look at only this part, and in this part if I bring Y here, then it becomes M upon I by Y is equal to F. So this becomes, can you call this a design equation? You can call this a design equation because this is stress, material property, this is M, externally applied parameter, and then this is I upon Y, which is similar to some geometrical parameter. This is going to contain the dimensions. This is going to contain dimensions in this. So this is a design equation which is possible for us to apply because we are given M. We are not given P, we are not given force, we are given moment. So let us use this as a design equation for this exercise. So we begin like this: M upon Z is equal to Ft design. This is the design equation we start using. So let's try to use this design equation. Ft design is given. Now M is also given, means you have found out. So you have to find out Z. Now what is Z? Z is I upon Y. I'll write here. What is Z called as? Z is a section modulus. And this is made up of I upon Y. What is I? I is moment of inertia of this section. I is the moment of inertia of this section, and Y is the distance of the fiber which is maximum away from the neutral axis. So if you think of all this, let's take this simple example which we have done earlier. So this particular beam is like this. It has got this cross section. This is the actual size of the beam. This beam we have drawn as a line, but in actual practice it has got certain width here B and certain thickness here T. So I have shown this revolved section. So for this beam, as you know, there is something called the neutral axis. What is the neutral axis? If this beam is bending like this, suppose this beam bends like this, then the material at the middle of the beam, that is going to maintain the length, whatever was the length earlier. The fibers, the material which is on the outer side of this axis, all these things, they are in tension. So all the material here is stretched, and the material which is on the inner side is compressed. So half the beam is compressed, half the beam is under tension, and the middle one is not changing its length. So this is a neutral axis. This axis is called the neutral axis. So if you see the cross section and try to show the neutral axis, then this is the place of neutral axis. The line what I have drawn, that line represents a neutral axis of this cross section. Okay, this line is a neutral axis of this cross section. I am showing here, it is applicable here also. So in this example, this becomes the neutral axis. And then, as you see, this is the beam, these are the forces acting, so it is going to bend like this. This beam is going to bend like this. So same way, when it bends like this, the outer fibers, they are in tension, the inner fibers are going to be in compression, the middle one, that is the neutral